baseball fans. You're watching On Deck with Tyler Redmond.
Welcome to On Deck. I'm Tyler Redmond. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. I do appreciate it. While you're here, make sure to like this video, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell for notifications so you can stay up to date with everything going on with your Atlanta Braves and, of course, everything going on here at On Deck. Got a lot of exciting new content coming up soon here on the channel. A lot of good interviews coming up, so make sure you subscribe so you can be notified when those drop. What a difference a week makes. Can we just acknowledge that for a second? It was only a week ago that the trade deadline was here. Last time I talked to you was the trade deadline, and we were wondering a week ago whether or not the Braves are going to be buyers or sellers, and it turns out they're going to be buyers, and so far it's been a fun ride since then. We're going to talk about the impact that those players have made in just a second, the instant impacts they've made or the instant impacts that they haven't made. But we're going to talk about it in just a second right after we acknowledge the fact that the Braves finally sit one game above 500 at 55-54. And after last night's win, it's the first time that the Braves have hit that mark all year long. Very exciting. It was an exciting night. Austin Riley hits a game-tying homer against the St. Louis Cardinals to give them momentum to finally sweep the Cardinals and take that one game above 500. And look, as good as things seem right now, the pitching staff and the offense and everything, it didn't always seem that way. It was only a couple of weeks ago that everything seemed doomed. Things have changed, and I think in a positive way, obviously. So, look, the trade deadline was a massive success. Credit to Alex Anthopoulos, credit to the front office. You have to give them that credit. They didn't overpay for anything. Everything was in the budget, if you want to look at it that way. And look, the Braves acquired 6 new faces in the weeks leading up to the deadline and, of course, on deadline day. So we've talked about those guys extensively on this channel. We've done videos, 20-minute long videos. If you want to go check those out, you're more than welcome to. We are going to highlight what they've done since the deadline here in just a second, and I think we need to do that. So we're going to start it off with Joc Pederson. Joc Pederson is the first major acquisition for the Braves leading up to the deadline, the first guy that you thought could be a fix, right, in the outfield. This was right after the injury to Acuna, and this guy has quickly become a fan favorite. And look, he was never going to fill the shoes of Ronald Acuna. Let's be real here. But he has done all the little things right. I think we have to acknowledge that. In 19 games with Atlanta, he's hitting .324. He's got 3 homers. And as much of a hitter as he is, he does all the little things right. He's bunting. He's hustling for a double. He's hitting the ball the other way. He's finding the gap. And he's hitting a homer when you wanted to. So, he's done a lot of things right. I think he's been a great acquisition so far. Hopefully that continues. And look, for those of you that like small ball, every now and then I get a comment saying that the Braves don't play enough small ball. For those of you that like small ball, Joc Pederson should be your guy. He is doing that. He's hitting the ball the other way. He's, again, bunting. He's doing those little things that lead to success. And I think that can rub off on some of these younger guys that you guys like to complain about. But again, Joc Pederson has been nothing short of a great acquisition for the Atlanta Braves. So let's talk about a guy that I think is a little bit under the radar. He's a catcher, Stephen Vogt. The catchers haven't been getting the love that a lot of these other new acquisitions have gotten, mainly because their offensive numbers are low. He and Kevin Smith, both offensively, are not going to blow you away. But what I'm going to tell you about Vogt, and the reason I think once d'Arnaud comes back, he will not be the guy going down. Vogt, again, offensively, not impressive. He's hitting .213 on the year, hitting .216 with the Braves. He's right over the Mendoza line. Again, not going to blow you away. But there's a lot more to catchers than offense, and this is why he's behind the dish. He has caught 80 innings for the Braves as of right now. In that time, 38 runs have scored against the Braves. So what I mean by that is, with Stephen Vogt behind the plate, the team ERA for the Braves is 2.35. Now, that might not sound great to you, but for perspective, the overall team ERA is 4.04. So it's not an exact science. It never was going to be here. I just wanted to find a stat that could show you maybe he's aiding the pitching staff. And I said this the other day. I didn't have any real evidence. I tried to find a stat that could really show you this. I think this is the best thing that we're going to find here. Vogt, to me, is an upgraded catcher for the pitching staff. He might not be better than Contreras hitting-wise. He might not be, the guy that you want at the plate, but he's a guy that I want behind the plate as of right now. And I understand the philosophy. I understand the decision by Snitker to put him there, and I like the move as of right now. Look, if you haven't seen the difference in the pitching staff, you're blind. The starters are going longer. The bullpen's been more successful. And overall, it's been a better performance. And I didn't really go into depth about Kevin Smith here, and it's not for any particular reason. He has a similar road here, but Stephen Vogt was the acquisition we got. He's the acquisition I think we're going to keep once Darno comes up, and I wanted to highlight him specifically. You got to give him some credit where it belongs. He has brought a lot of consistency to the pitching staff as a whole. So just take a look at that next time you're watching a game with Stephen Vogt in it, and tell me if you notice how comfortable the pitchers are and how long they go in the game. Tuki Toussaint, perfect example. With that out of the way, let's talk about Eddie Rosario. Now, Eddie Rosario, unfortunately, has not been healthy. He has not been able to join the Braves so far this year and hasn't been able to contribute yet, but I think he will soon enough. I will say I don't think it's going to be a long time. Look, if you're curious, he's a 254 hitter on the year. But look, he was on the field pregame the other day when I was at the game. He was doing some drills with Ron Washington. He was only on the 10-day IL. I don't think it's going to be long before we see him again, and I would think and hope it's going to be soon. So what about a guy that we're all looking forward to seeing on the Braves lineup? Adam Duvall. Now, our old friend Duvie has not been, he hasn't had the instant impact that a lot of these players have had. He struggled a little bit. Look, he's only played in 6 games. Okay, he's hitting 143. He's got a homer, but look, it's 6 games, guys. It's a small sample size. Duvie's going to come around, but look, he's also a 220 hitter. What he brings to the table is that he is a threat in the lineup at any given time. He's a threat to hit the long ball at any time. You put him behind a batter, the batter in front of him is going to be successful, and he can also bite you if you pitch to him the wrong way. So I expect him to be right back on track. I think he's going to be just fine with Atlanta. He's happy to be here. If you haven't seen this press conference, it's the best watch you'll see all year. Go check it out. And look, I expect him, again, to be right back on track and to hurt the Marlins a time or two, hopefully, towards the end of the season, as opposed to us. Let's talk about Jorge Soler. Jorge Soler, look, this was one of my favorite picks by Anthopoulos at the deadline, and mainly because no one expected it, including myself. This wasn't one I had on the radar. A lot of people questioned this move when it happened. I didn't. I actually, I went and did some research on him, and it turns out he was hot at the time, and I thought that was what the Braves needed. There was no better time to get this guy. He had 6 homers in 6 games about 2 days before the deadline. And look, he struggled early on, but all that means to me is not a lot of teams are in on him. They're not, you're not going to overpay for him. And so far for the Braves, in only 5 games, he already has 2 homers. He's hitting over 300, again, small sample size, but a shot in the arm nonetheless, a shot in the arm the Braves needed. And look, I think if that continues, and there's no reason to think it won't, because it's not luck, guys. He's not swinging for the fences every time hoping that he hits a homer. He's changed his approach. He's figured something out. And I think if he's figured it out and it can remain for the rest of the year, we're in for some excitement with Jorge Soler. Solar power all the way. So this is a guy who I did have on the radar, as a matter of fact. I did a video on him. I wanted him and Brian Reynolds in that video, but Richard Rodriguez was the priority, and that's because we needed bullpen arms at the time. And look, Richard Rodriguez has been as advertised. 4 scoreless innings and only 2 hits so far with Atlanta. He was the move for the pen, in my opinion. Outside of Kimbrel, maybe, I wanted Richard Rodriguez, and this is exactly why. He has, again, been as advertised. I think that's going to continue, and we got some years of control on him as well. So hopefully that will continue throughout the year. I think he's going to overall bring some stability to the bullpen, and I think he's done that so far. So as nice as it is to see these new guys perform, and they've had a lot of instant impacts. I think they're going to be an exciting group to watch, and an exciting group to look back on what could have not been had we not gotten them. And so far, I don't know what we would have been had we not gotten these guys. So as nice as it is to see those guys perform and have that instant impact, we haven't mentioned the rest of the crew here. How about Austin Riley last night, game-tying homer to sweep the Cardinals and give the Braves momentum to win that game. But aside from that, he's got the second most homers and second most RBIs in all of Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. That's 9 homers and 23 RBIs. Dansby Swanson on fire. Freddie Freeman, his average continues to climb. And look, with Freddie Freeman, honestly, with the injuries to Tatis and others, it makes me wonder if there's an open door for him to get an MV free-peat. And I'm claiming that term. If it gets marketed, you heard it here first, MV free-peat if it happens. So there's been a lot of excitement lately with the Braves. The older guys are performing. The new guys are performing. hopefully that continues. I think ultimately you have to give some credit to the front office for the trade deadline. I know we've talked about it extensively on this channel, but I cannot overstate how big of a deal that is and how big of a shot in the arm that is for this team. I think that is going to say a lot. And if you're wondering, we didn't make any mainstream trades, right? Like obviously Duvall and Joc Pederson, but they're not Scherzer and Turner. Just remember, we have a lot of unknown. Waskari Noah, Ian Anderson in terms of starting pitching are both in Gwinnett right now. They're on their way back. Should be relatively soon. Travis d'Arnaud in terms of offense and catching, since we're talking about catching in this video. They're all on their way back from Gwinnett. And outside of that, Marcell Ozuna is still a question mark. And I hate to throw that name out there. I know it's kind of a weird topic right now, but that is still a question mark, and that is still a strong possibility. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but we have not heard anything out of Major League Baseball. We haven't heard anything out of the Atlanta Braves. So it would just be interesting if something like that did develop. So with that out of the way, guys, I do appreciate you watching. Thanks for tuning in. While you're here, make sure to like this video. Share this video with your friends. If they're Braves fans, this is the perfect channel for them. I promise you. So thanks, guys. We're going to hop out of here. Make sure you stay tuned for some content later this week. Hopefully the Braves maybe make it to first place later this week. Just speaking that into existence. So thanks, guys. I'll see you next time right here at On Deck.
Baseball fans, make sure you like and share this video and subscribe to this channel. As always, thank you for your support.